Today, I would like to introduce the history of monosodium glutamate. My presentation will include 5 parts: the introduction, discovery, introductorial improvement, further development, and comment. First, come to the introduction part. So, what is monosodium glutamate? The monosodium glutamate, MSG, also known as sodium glutamate, is a sodium salt of glutamic acid. As a common condiment, MSG can intensify the milky, savory flavor of food. The MSG that people generally use is small, white transparent crystals. MSG was first prepared in 1908 by Japanese biochemist Kikuno Akira. He was trying to isolate and duplicated the savory taste of kombu, a kind of seaweed used for many Japanese soups. In fact, pure MSG does not contain a pleasant taste, but has to be used with salt and other umami substance in the most appropriate concentrations to bring out the best beautiful taste. Compared to sodium, the sodium content per mass of MSG is only a third of it. Because of these properties, MSG can be used to reduce salt intake. So, how did MSG be discovered? Next is the discovery. In 1908, Kikuno Akira, a professor of Tokyo Imperial University, noticed that the soup of both shibori and the kelp had a special flavor that had not been scientifically described at the time, and that was distinct from sweet, salty, sour, and bitter flavors. Akira named the taste umami, the fifth flavor. To investigate the source of umami, Akira used water extraction and crystallization to isolate glutamic acid from kelp. The following is the extraction process. First, because it is difficult to prove the existence of a small quantity of unknown taste substance, Akira selected dry seaweed as a material for his study, because the protein in this dry seaweed is coagulated and its aqueous extract may have a relatively simple composition. Akira boiled the dry kelp in an evaporating dish and extract the broth. Then evaporated at the crystallization point of the extract and cooled it. A large quantity of mannitol crystalline is obtained. Then filter it to get the mother liquid. Next, evaporate it for several times until the mannitol and the yellow salt crystals were totally removed. The third step is precipitation. The mother liquid was neutral after it was dried and heated, and the residue dissolved in water. The solution reacts strongly alkalic. This indicated that the taste substance is salt of an organic acid. Many attempts were made to precipitate the acid with different methods. Chlorine, iodine, and sulfuric acid mixed in the mother liquid precipitated, but the acid, being salt, was not deposited. Finally, on adding a saturated solution of lead nitrate, a precipitate was obtained. The precipitation was partially dissolved in boiling water and easily crashed into powder. The fourth step is debridement. The powder, together with calcium carbonate, was placed in water and then put in a flow of hydrogen sulfide. After a series of debridement, a solution of a mixture of unknown acid and a small amount of nitric acid were obtained. The fifth step is crystallization. The solution was concentrated through reduced pressure evaporation and then kept in a dryer with sulfuric acid. In a few days, a crystalline substance started to develop, but its growth was very slow. It took a week to obtain a crystal the size of a rice corn. Akira said the crystals appeared similarly to sand when he bite them, and displayed a peculiar taste of seaweed broth with little sour taste. The crystal was neutralized with alkali to yield a salt that was strongly umami. Finally, the crystalline acid obtained was analyzed. Its molecular weight was evaluated, and the acid was neutralized with alkali of known concentration for determination of its equivalent. The molecular formula was determined. Since this other property agreed with those glutamic acid, the substance was finally determined to be glutamate acid. Next, come to the industrial production part. In the next year, 1909, Akira and another entrepreneur began the industrial production of MSG. They cooperated with each other and established their own monosodium glutamate production company, Ajinomoto. The first industrial production process was extraction method, in which vegetable proteins were treated with hydrogen hydrochloric acid to disrupt peptide bonds. Akira used wheat gluten as the source of glutamate because it has the highest content of glutamine among industrial raw materials. Gluten was first separated from wheat flour by washing the starch from dough. The resulting crude gluten was transferred to poultry vessel, termed doyoji game, combined with hydrochloric acid, and heated for 20 hours. After a series of extraction, isolation, and purification procedures, the final product was obtained. Nevertheless, it should be noted that this procedure was very hazardous because it exposed workers and facilities to corrosive conditions. Hydrogen chloride gas was released into the local atmosphere during the process. To overcome such problems, a sulfuric acid hydrolyze process was attempted. However, this approach failed due to acid racemization produced by the heat generated in the neutralization process. Consequently, the method returned to the use of hydrochloric acid. To scale up hydrolysis, the Myoji game vessel was replaced by a granite stone chamber with animated stream pipes. Finally, in the 1930s, the corrosion problem was completely solved through the development of a rubber-lined iron vessel. Finally, in the 1930s, the corrosion problem was completely solved through the development of a rubber-lined iron vessel. This rubber-lining technology was originally developed by Ajinomoto on the basis of Akira's ideas, but it was also introduced in part of a German company. This technology allowed hydrolysis to be performed in a completely sealed vessel with no leakage of hydrogen chloride gas into the environment. In order to further improve production efficiency, bacterial fermentation method was introduced in the 1950s. Today, MSG is mass-produced from fermented cornstarch, sugar canes, or beet. Although Akira passed away in 1936, his successor continues to run the company and grow it. As of 2021, Ajinomoto operates in 36 countries. Its production involves in food, medicine, and other fields. Its yearly revenue in 2021 is around $8 billion. Now, here's my comment. After a general introduction to the discovery and production history of MSG, I will make some summaries and express my views. I think curiosity and confidence are two important quantities. For thousands of years, countless people have tasted the umami in kelp and fish soup, but only Dr. Akira has carried out his spirit of exploring to the end. It is curiosity that motivated him to use what he was learned to scientifically and rigorously explore. It is confidence that allows him to rationally analyze when he encounters setbacks, keep trying, and finally find a solution. In addition, it is surprising that he also had a business mind, and he has turned his discoveries into patents and products in a timely manner, bringing him a lot of money. From Akira's story, I can see that a person should not only explore in his or her own field, but also develop a flexible mind. Only by learning and applying knowledges in multiple fields can we be more likely to succeed.